Okay, well, very good morning, guys. What happened? Okay. So, so last day we just been discussing about arrays. So, and I shown you how to use the one-dimensional arrays, correct? So, one-dimensional arrays. What about the one-dimensional arrays? One-dimensional arrays will store you the data in the form of single row. The data will be stored in the form of a single row. The second type of arrays what we have are two-dimensional arrays. What are two-dimensional arrays? Two-dimensional arrays are going to store you the data in the form of rows and columns. The data gets stored here in the form of rows and columns. So your data will be in the rows and column format. Okay. So if you observe this, if you just observe this, how do I declare two-dimensional arrays? How do declare two-dimensional arrays means is how we declare the two-dimensional arrays. Int. See, generally, for a single dimensional array, we use square brace here. When you use a square brace, what is the meaning? It's an indication, it's an array. Correct? It's an indication, it's an array. But now, if you put a comma here, it's a two-dimensional array. If you put a comma there, that is a two-dimensional array. ARR is equals to new. Okay? Int of. And here, you're required to tell the number of rows and the number of columns. Understood or not? Okay, means here is a type name here. This is a type name new of type. For example, how do you write? ARR is equals to new int of 4, 5. So how many rows and columns? We have 4 rows and 5 columns here. We just have 4 rows and 5 columns in this place now. 4 rows, 5 columns are what we just have in this case. Okay, now we can also write like this as a schedule, declaration, initialization. Declaration and initialization can be which can be separated. Our third option also, what? Open the curly braces and you can assign the array. All 3 options what I said you in the last class will work here also. Only thing is we put a comma there to indicate it is a two-dimensional array. Otherwise, it's just like our normal arrays what I shown you in the last class. Okay. Can you repeat last session? I will repeat last session here. Read the notes first. Read your notes. Follows today's class and read your notes. You'll understand it. Using system, class, TDRay. Now we are declaring an array. We're declaring an array. Okay, last class we declared a single dimensional array. How do you declare a single dimensional array? Is equals to new int of and give some size. This is how you declare a single dimensional array. Now you're declaring what? A two-dimensional array. Now you're declaring a two-dimensional array. How do you declare it? Int. put a comma there to tell it is a two-dimensional array. See, that's the differentiation we have. ARR is equals to new int of. Now tell the number of rows. I want 4 rows. And tell the number of columns. I want 5 columns. 4 rows and 5 columns. 4 comma 5. Understood all of you? So this is how you declare a two-dimensional array. Okay, fine. Now when you declare an array, internally memory is allocated. For a single dimensional array, this is how the memory is allocated, right? 6 cells and index position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Default values are zeros. And these are the indexes. ARR is the name of the array. So this is what we done in the last class. Okay. Now we have a two-dimensional array. Is how the memory is allocated. What is this one? Row index. What is this one? Column index. What is this one? Cell index. Cell index, where cell index is a combination of row and column index. 0, 0. See, this is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. First one is row, second one is column. Same way, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. That's how the memory gets allocated for a two-dimensional array. Is it clear, all of you? Yes or not? Okay, it's a one-dimensional array in the form of a row, two-dimensional rows and columns. But one thing I did not show you there, but now also default value is 0 only. Now also default value is 0 only. You have the default value as 0 only in now also. Means all the cells will have the default value 0. I did not represent there because I directly shown you the index positions to there. I did not represent the values, but in this scenario also, the default values are going to be 0. Okay, now let's just try printing on the screen. Let's try printing them on screen. I'll print it. Remember 2 ways to print. 1, for loop. 2, for each loop. What is your face here? Last class you learnt, na? And then you're putting your face, first time you hearing this, na? What is the first option? For loop. Second one, for each loop. Okay, guys. Now, for each loop is going to be easy and simple when compared with the for loop. For loop has its own advantages that secondary, but when you are accessing the values, for each loop is very simple and easy. Why, sir? Watch it. Accessing the values of a two-dimensional array by using for each loop. Okay, how do you write the for each loop? For each in ARR. What is the beauty of the for each loop, you know? Last class I said you, no need to tell the, no need declaration, no need initialization, no need iteration. And in the same way, no need to tell the number of rows, no need to tell the number of columns also. It will start with the first row, first column and stops at the last row, last column. It will stop at the first row, first column and stop at the last row, last column. I don't require to tell the number of rows, number of columns also. That is the beauty of the for each loop. Watch it. Console.write I plus some space and console.write line. Console.write line. See. TDRI. Got it. Got it? Count it. 20 values totally. 20 zeros. No need to tell the number of rows. No need to tell the number of columns. Simply give the array to the loop. I said you, it is just a gun with a barrel of bullets. The array is your barrel of bullets and your loop is your gun now. Once you fill the barrel, start firing. What will happen? All the bullets will be released off one by one. All the bullets are released one by one from that. And see now, you're able to get access to all values. Okay, now. But if you want to print the same thing by using a for loop, we have a problem. What is the problem? If you want to print it by using a for loop, you cannot write the code by using a single for loop. You're required to write two for loops here. You're required to write a nested for loop here. You're required to write a nested for loop. One loop referring to the rows and one loop referring to the columns. How, sir? How to write? Watch it. Accessing the values of a two-dimensional array by using which loop? But for loop, you cannot use a for loop directly, guys. What you should use? A nested for loop is what you require to use. A nested for loop is what you just require to use. How to write the code? Concentrate on this. For int I equals to 0 and I less than. See, the outer loop should be pointing to the rows. How many rows are there? 4 rows. Starting from 0 to 3, right? Yes or not? Means I less than what? I less than 4. Correct? Yes or not? Without using the 4 as a static value, you can try this now. ARR dot get length of 0. Last class I explained about this method and I said I'll show you in the next class. ARR dot get length method. Get length method will tell you the number of rows and the number of columns. The get length method will tell you the number of rows and number of columns. How many rows are there? 4 rows. How many columns are there? 5 columns. 0 will give you number of rows, and if I use 1 there, it will tell you number of columns. The same method will tell you rows also, and the same method will tell you the number of columns also. Okay. Fine, guys. We observe it. Yeah. I++. So this is pointing to the rows now. This is pointing to the rows now. You need to write one more loop. For int j equals to 0, j less than, this should be pointing to the number of columns. How many columns are there? Means it should be j less than 5 now. 0 to 4, 5. Correct? So without using this, we can say get length of 1. Get length of 0 will return your number of rows and get length of 1 will return your number of columns. Means without two methods, one method with the different parameters will give you the results. Now what next? J++. Now, how does a nested for loop execute? Come on, yaar, you learned about nested for loops in your C language. How does a nested for loop execute? How does it execute? First, which loop starts? First, which loop starts the execution? Inner loop, outer loop? Louder. Oh, without opening the main door, you'll open the bedroom door. Oh, you're telling that only. You're telling that only, yaar. Inner loop. Without starting from the outer, how will you go to inner loop? Execution starts with outer loop, not with inner loop. Execution starts with outer loop, not the inner loop. Got the point here? So tomorrow, someone asks you a question in the interview. How does a nested for loop execute? How does a nested for loop execute? What is the answer, you know? For each iteration of the outer loop, for each iteration of the outer loop, a complete cycle of the inner loop will occur. Did you catch my point? What is that? For each iteration of the outer loop, a complete cycle of inner loop will take place. Okay, this is how the nested for loops will execute for you. Nested for loop execution. So what is that, sir? What is that is? Tell me, outer loop is 4 times, inner loop is 5 times, correct? Yes or not? Now the first iteration of outer loop, I value 0. And what did I say? A complete cycle of inner loop will take place now. A complete cycle means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct or not? A complete cycle means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember here, all the times, what is the value of I? 0. Now again, I will become 1. Again, a complete cycle of inner loop. A complete cycle of inner loop. What is the I value? 1 in all the times. Again, I becomes 2. A complete cycle of inner loop. All the time I value is 2. Now I becomes 3. A complete cycle of inner loop. I value all the times is 3. You understood the code now? That's all. 0 to 3 only. 0 to 3 only. Now just look at that, guys. In this process, you are getting access to all the controls, all the cells of your array now. Where, sir? Look at the coordinates. Look at the first 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. These are the coordinates of the first row. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Coordinates of the second row, right? 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. Coordinates of the third row. 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Coordinates of the fourth row. So, in this process, in the process of execution, we get access to each cell of the array. You'll be getting access to each cell of the array. See, understand the picture that only shown you. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. See now, when the loop is executing, first time, you'll get access to first row coordinates, second row coordinates, third row coordinates, and the fourth row coordinates. Are you clear? Yes or not? So what I require to do is, I require to go for writing a nested for loop in this case. I require to go for using a nested for loop in this particular context. Okay? So normal for loop will not work nested. But when you come to for each loop, no need to write nested for each loop. Single for loop will do the job. That's why for each loop is easy for accessing the values. Are you getting me or not? For each loop is easy for accessing the values basically. When you want to access the values, for each loop is going to be very, very easy. Where we use this application. Where we use means what? You're asking about for each loop. Sorry, you're asking about two-dimensional arrays. Where we use two-dimensional arrays. What's your question? Be clear. Okay, now come back. I want to print the values. How to access the values? Watch it. Console dot write. Console dot write. How to get them? Last day for single dimensional arrays, how did you print the values? AR of I, correct? Are AR of I? One coordinate only. But here one coordinate or two coordinates? Two coordinates. What is that? Row index, column index. So how to print AR of I, comma J. I, comma J. I is row, J is columns. Plus, give some space. That's it. Now this is how you are going to access the values. Check it out. It prints the same values only to you here also. You got the same output only, watch. Are you clear? Which one is simple? When you are accessing the values, for each loop is simple and easy. When you are accessing the values, for each loop is simple as well as easy also. But for loop has an advantage. Even though you write a nested for loop, we have an advantage. Two advantages. One, if you want to do an assignment, already in the last class I said you, for each loop doesn't support assignments. For each loop supports only accessing. Assignment is not possible with a for each loop. That is one drawback. Second thing is, it's a two-dimensional array or single-dimensional array. What you declared? What you declared? A two-dimensional array or single-dimensional array? Two-dimensional. But you printed values in a single line as a single-dimensional array. Array with a two-dimensional array, the output also should be like a two-dimensional array only, na? Am I correct or not? Because I want to print the data row by row. I want to print the data row by row, but I can't do this with a for each loop. I can't do that with a for each loop. Why you can do? Because for each loop will never tell you end of a row. If I know end of a row, I'll come to next line. But for each loop will never tell you end of the row. If the for each loop starts at the first row, first column, it will stop at last row, last column. That's all. Understood my point or not? It will never tell you The end of a row. Got the point or not? So that is the drawback. But for loop will tell you the end of a row. How? Very simple, guys. Look at your code here. Can anyone tell me what is the inner for loop doing? Can anyone tell me what is the inner for loop doing? What the inner for loop is doing? If you put blank space, nothing will happen. Try. Right or wrong or something, try. You're not trying at all. What is the inner for loop doing? Printing the values of a row. Printing the values of a row. When I say printing the values of a row, columns only, na? But the correct thing is, it is printing the values of a row. Which row, sir? The row pointed by the outer loop. The row pointed by the outer loop. I is pointing to 0. Inner loop will print the values of the first row. I is pointing to 1. Inner loop will print the values of the second row. I is pointing to 2. Inner loop will print the values of the third row. I is pointing to 3. Inner loop will print the values of the fourth row. Did you understand? What is the inner loop doing? Printing the values of a row. Now tell me, if you are coming out of the inner loop, what is the meaning? That is the end of a row or not? If you are coming out of the inner loop, that is the end of a row or not? And because that is the end of a row, here I am writing console dot means for each row, I am adding a line break now. Understood? For each row, I am adding a line break now. Observe it now. Got it? That's what I'm telling you. I cannot do this with for each loop. Why? For each loop won't tell me end of a row. For each loop won't tell me end of a row. But for loop will tell you end of a row? Yes. For loop will tell me end of a row. Because it's a 2 for loops. Once the inner for loop execution is completed, means that is the end of one row. Okay? So that's why I'm able to print row by row. Did you understand the 2 advantages of a for loop compared with for each loop? For each loop is best only for accessing. For each loop is only for accessing. But if you want to do assignment, for each loop will not work. And when you want to print output row by row, for each loop will not work. What you require to use is only the for loop. Okay, watch it. Shall we do assignment now? Shall we do assignment? For assignment, for loop or for each loop? For row, for each? For loop. For each cannot be used. Okay, just a minute. Look at this one. The inner for loop here as a single line of code now. The inner for loop here as a single line of code, right? So can I remove the curly braces? Sorry, guys. When a conditional statement as a single statement, curly braces are optional. I removed the curly braces. Just to make it simple, I just return it. Okay? That's the way how you're printing it. Okay. Okay, now what I'm teaching, assigning values to a 2-dimensional array by using nested for loop. How to assign values? Okay, watch. Again, same story. For each cannot be used. You're required to use a nested for loop. For int I is equals to 0, I less than arr dot get length of 0. Next. Oh, sorry. I plus plus. Next. For j equals to 0, j less than arr dot get length of 1, j plus plus. Now your requirement is to assign values. Now I'm writing arr of I comma j is equals to 5. All cells are assigned with 5 now. All cells are assigned with 5. Watch. Recompile. All of 5. No, I want to assign it like this. What? Start with 5. Increment by 5 and assign. I want to start with 5. Increment by 5 and assign. Last class, see, We started with 10, incremented by 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Today, I want to assign 5, 10, 15, like this. Okay. So to do this, first, I'm going to declare a variable here. Int x is equals to what? 0. Now come here, and here, before assignment, I'm writing x plus equals to 5. Last day also I showed you the same thing only. I said that x plus is equal to 10 yesterday, but today I'm writing x plus equals to 5. That's it. So come here, don't say 5 here. What do you say? X. Started with 5, incremented by 5, and finally the last value is 100. Okay, now. See guys, in every program I'm showing you, last program also shown you the same, now also I'm showing the same thing. I'm showing you 3 things for you. First, accessing the default values. Second, assigning new values. Third, accessing new values. Check it out, compare your last program also, I shown the same thing only. But the loops are maybe interchange. I use the for loop on the top or for each loop on the top, and opposite will be in the bottom, that's all. But yesterday's code and today's code both are same. First I showed you accessing original default values. Second I'm showing you assigning of the new values. Third I'm showing you again accessing the new values. That's all. Okay now? So this is how you work with a 2-dimensional array. To be clear, here see guys, I'm printing you console.writeLine rows ARR dot get length of 0. Next, columns get length of 1. How many total cells? Total how many cells? Tell me. 20 cells. ARR dot. This is what I said about the length in the last class. Length will tell you the total number of cells. Understood the difference? Length will tell you, open the mouths, total number of cells. Okay. No, yeah, written wrong. Declaration on the top. And after declaration only now I can find it. That's a mistake. Number of rows, number of columns. Did you understand the difference between length and get length, all of you? Length will tell you what? Total cells. Get length will tell you the number of rows or number of columns based on the parameter value what you pass. 0 refers to rows and 1 refers to columns. Okay, now. So this is how you work with the 2-dimensional array. Any doubts? Understood? For loop I shown you. For each loop I shown you. When you are accessing, the best simple option is always for each loop. Why? Single loop. No need to tell. Initialization. No need to specify. Iteration. No need to specify. Condition. And for 2-dimensional arrays, no need to tell the number of rows also. No need to tell the number of columns also. Okay? Now, all of you, how can I assign values to a 2-dimensional array at the time of declaration? How can I assign values to a 2-dimensional array at the time of declaration? It's a 1-dimensional array. Last class we saw is equals to open the curly braces and specify the values. And same way, I want to do an assignment now. What? Assigning values to a 2-dimensional array at the time of declaration. How do you do that? Watch. Same process, guys. ARR is equals to. You are assigning a value. How to? Open the curly brace. Open the curly brace first. Now, If it is a single dimensional array, you can give all the list of values, but it's not a single dimensional array, it's a two-dimensional array. So what to do again? Each row should be under a separate curly brace like this. These are first row values. These are first row values. Again, second row values. Third row values. That's how you write. See, on the top level, you require to open the curly brace to tell there is an array. Understood? Two-dimensional array. Again, every row should be under nothing here. See, this is an array, right? Yes or not? But this is an array of arrays now. It's like a array of arrays. How many? 4 arrays. Every array is 5 cells. Combined together, we call that as a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array. Okay? Pavan, upload all the notepad files in Google. Notepad files they won't upload here. Everything will be typed in that. Notepad files every day I can't upload. I will delete off immediately all those things. You will find up in your notes. Check it out. Okay. So this is how you assign values to a two-dimensional array at the time of declaration. Are you guys clearer or not? Understood? Okay. So fine. So it's all about two-dimensional arrays. How to declare them, how to consume them. We talked about it. See, when do we use arrays? When do we use arrays in the code? I want to represent a set of values, then I go for using arrays. Suppose I'm developing an application for a school. I was developing an application for a school. There are some 50 students in the classroom. There are 50 students in the classroom. Okay. I'm developing an application. There are 50 students in the classroom. For each student, there are examinations completed now. I wanted to declare, I just wanted to store the total marks achieved by the 50 students now. I wanted to store the total marks achieved by the 50 students. Total marks, only total marks, guys. All the students, each student, how many marks you got, I want to store the total marks. If you want to do that, one way, declare 50 variables. Declare 50 variables. It's a lengthy process here. You're required to declare the variables int student 1, student 2, student 3, like this student 50 and store each student marks in each and every variable now. Easy, yeah? Very lengthy process. The simplest way is go with an array. Go with a array. Declare a single dimensional array. Declare a single dimensional array with how many cells? 50. Now each student marks are stored in each cell now. Understood or not? Okay, that's how you just go for using it. That's how you go for using it. Okay, so basically you see, you have in your mobile, you have address book. And in your mobile, you have address book. You show contact details. Can you store only a single phone number of a user or multiple phone numbers? Multiple can be stored now. You understand that here. The entries are array internally. Phone number entry is an array. So when you try to enter a new number, on some phones you'll find automatically when you fill that, new option will be there. If you click on new, one more text box will come for entering a new number. Array, multiple contact details can be stored now. So one more will come, one more, like 2 entries, one more, you can just add it. That's an array internally. Then nothing but a array, how it creates for you. Multiple entries. Okay. So when you wanted to represent more number of values, then we go for using the arrays. Okay. Now see what I said here. I'm developing an application for a school. I want to store the total marks achieved by students in a classroom. There are 50 students. So the question is, should I go for declaring 50 variables or one array? What is the best option? One array. Now second question. Single dimensional array, two dimensional array. Single dimensional array sufficient. Single dimensional array will be sufficient for me now. Because what I want to store is only the total marks, and a single dimensional array will do the job. Okay, now, but guys, my requirement is different. What? The difference is now I wanted to go for storing the total marks achieved by students in 4 different classes here. Not one class, 4 classes are there. First class, second class, third class, fourth class. I want to store the total marks achieved by 4 different classes. Then I will go for a single dimensional, 2 dimensional. Then we go for 2 dimensional arrays, not the single dimensional arrays. We go for 2 dimensional arrays in this case now. So, sorry. So what you do? You declare means 2 dimensional, first class, second class, third class, fourth class, and suppose each class has 80 students now. And what is the size of your array? 4 rows, 80 columns. 4 rows, 80 columns. 4 by 80, right? Yes or not? The array size is 4 by 80, 320 cells. 320. In this scenario, we can't go for a single dimensional array. We're required to go for using a 2 dimensional array. Is it clear? But guys, when I'm declaring, I faced a problem. What is the problem? The problem is in the first class here, there are 50 students. In the second class, there are 60 students. In the third class, there are 80 students. And in the fourth class, there are 40 students. Did you catch my point? In the first class, there are 50 students. In the second class, there are 60 students. Third class has 80 students and fourth class has 40 students. Now, if I go for declaring a 2-dimensional array now, if I go for declaring a 2-dimensional array, what is the problem? The array should be 4 by 80. Array, you're required to take the highest only, na? The array should be 4 by 80. But if you declare a 4 by 80 array, in the first row, 30 cells should be left empty. In the second row, 20 cells should be left empty. Third row, everything is filled. Fourth row, 40 cells should be left empty. Means 30 plus 20 plus 40, 90, 90 into 4, 360 bytes of space is getting wasted off now. Yes or not? It is going to be wasting you the memory. How to control this, sir? If at all you want to control this, if at all you just want to control this one, 2 options are there. Option 1, declare 4 single dimensional arrays. Declare 4 single dimensional arrays. Array, declare 4 single dimensional arrays here. First array with a size of 50, second array with a size of 60, third array with a size of 80, fourth array with a size of 40. Now tell me, do we have any memory wastage now? So now tell me, 4 single dimensional arrays is better or a 2-dimensional array is better? 4 single dimensional arrays or a 2-dimensional array? 4 single dimensional, 2-dimensional arrays are not going to be suggested. Second option, what we have, without declaring 4 single dimensional arrays, we have an option of declaring jaggedArray. It's a new type of array. What is it? JaggedArray. What is a jaggedArray, sir? JaggedArray. What is this? Listen, these are also 2-dimensional arrays only. These are also 2-dimensional arrays only. Jagged arrays are also 2-dimensional arrays only. But the difference is in a normal 2-dimensional array, in a normal 2D array, okay, all the rows should have equal number of columns. All the rows should have equal number of columns. Rakesh, stop the video. Okay. All the rows should have equal number of columns. Whereas in a jagged array, the column size can vary from Did you understand it, all of you? Read it carefully. I just now explained the 2-dimensional arrays. All the rows have equal number of columns or not? 5 have 5 fixed. 6 columns 6 fixed. 10 column fixed. But what about the jagged array? the column size can vary from row to row. Each row can have a different column size. First row, one size. Second row, another size. Third row, another size. Fourth row, another size. So two options I'm telling you. What are the two options? Declare for individual single dimensional arrays. Declare for individual single dimensional arrays. No loss of memory. No wastage of memory. Not loss. No wastage of memory. Our second option, declare a jagged array. One array only, jagged array. Here also, no wastage of memory because the column size is going to vary from row to row. Each row will have a different column size now. Got the point, all of you? That's the beauty of a jagged array. That's the beauty of jagged arrays basically. Okay. For example, here, let's not take 50, 60, 80, 40. Let's make it simple. First row has 5 cells. Second row, 6. Third row, 8. Fourth row, 4. Okay now? And now all of you look at the jagged array. This is a jagged array. Two-dimensional array or not? Come on, yaar, louder. Two-dimensional array. But what is the difference? Column size is not fixed. First row has only 5 cells. Second row has 6 cells. Third row has 8 cells. And fourth row has 4 cells. The number of cells are varying from each and every row. Because the number of cells are varying, we call this as a jagged array. Got it or not? Okay, one more thing, guys. What? Jagged arrays are also known as array of arrays. Array in two-dimensional is array of arrays only. That only I said you already. 5 minutes back I already said you that point. Array of arrays. Because here each row is considered as one single dimensional array and multiple single dimensional arrays of different sizes are combined together to form a. You're seriously writing up. It's in your notes here. It's in your notes also. Check it out. Concentrate. Okay. So jagged arrays are also known as arrays. Array of arrays. Because here each row is considered as one single dimensional array and multiple single dimensional arrays of different sizes are combined together to form a new array. So that's what exactly a jagged array. Any doubts with a jagged array? How to work it, how to work with it, I'll tell you. But do you have any doubts? Now the big question is how to declare them, sir. The first question is how to declare them. Second question is how to access them. First is how to declare. Because two-dimensional array, you can tell the number of rows and columns over. But here each row has a different column size now. So the biggest question is how to declare. Okay, watch it. Look, declaring a jagged array. See, all of you, understand one thing. While declaring a jagged array, you cannot tell, you cannot tell the number of columns at the time of declaration. Means in the initial declaration, see in a two-dimensional array, how did you say 4, 5, 4 rows, 5 columns. But for jagged array, you can't tell. Why you can't tell? Same column size or different column size. But what you need to do, first you're required to tell the row size. Later, you're required to point to each row and tell the column size. So, understand. To declare a jagged array, first we need to tell the number of rows. First we need to tell what? The number of rows in the array. And then pointing to each row, we need to tell the number of columns to that row. Are you guys clear or not? First, what will you tell? Louder. Number of rows. Then pointing to each row, what you will tell? The number of columns. We tell the number of columns to that particular row now. First tell the rows and then tell the columns. Are you clearer or not? Watch the process. First, look at what is this? Otherwise, what is this? Integer. What is this? Array of integers. Correct? Huh? Come on, tell me. Use your common sense. Array of integer arrays. Type also, I'm telling you that's all. Array of arrays is correct only. Array of integer arrays. And that is nothing but jaggedArray. So did you understand? To declare a jaggedArray, you're required to use double square brace. Otherwise, how do you differentiate between all the three now? Single square brace is single dimensional array. A square brace with a comma is two dimensional array. Double square brace is jaggedArray. Okay? Watch it. Int ARR is equals to new int of 4. Watch it here. I said only the number of rows. That's what I said. Your initial declaration, we can only tell the number of rows. Now I specified the number of rows. How many rows? 4 rows. Now you're required to point to each row and tell the number of columns. Now you're required to point to each row and tell the number of columns. How to point to each row, sir? Say, listen. If your array is a single dimensional array, array of 0 means your array is a single dimensional array. Array of 0. First column na, first cell. Array of 0, first cell. Array of 1, second cell. Correct? Huh? In a jaggedArray, if you declare a jaggedArray, array of 0, first row, not first column. Array of 0 is first row. Array of 1, second row. Watch the picture. I already represented there. Understood or not? Array of 0 is first row. Array of 1, second row. Array of 2, third row. Array of 3, fourth row. So we just have the 4 rows and you are representing the 4 rows like this. Got it, all of you? Okay, now you see. Now I am writing array of 0 means first row, correct? Is equals to. Understood the syntax? Yes or not? Come on, tell me, continue. You tell me. Array of 1 is equals to new int of 6. Array of 2, new int of 8. Array of 3, new int of 4. How many you want, you just declare it. Tomorrow you have 10 rows or 20 rows also same. But code lengthy, sir, lengthy coding. Code will be lengthy only. Understand a point. How many times will you write the code here? One time or n times, sir? One time only now? How many times the program should execute? One time, huh? Your program execute one time, sir? N times. So memory management is important. Not we write the code. We are paid for writing that code only, guys. Tomorrow company is paying you to write that code only. You can't say lengthy code. For that only you're paid. Memory management is very, very important. Even though the code is lengthy, it will provide you an excellent memory management. One time only here we can take the pain and write the code, not a problem. But see the advantage, memory management is going to be long run. Every time you run the program, you have an excellent memory management. Are you guys clearer? Yes or not? So once you declare, this is how the array gets created. Here also, row index, column index. Now cell index is also present. Same, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Next, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7. Next, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. Are you clearer or not? So like this, we are just going to have the things. But one thing you remember, what is that? When you're representing a 2-dimensional array, how do you represent ARR of row, comma? Correct? Now it is ARR of row of column. That only I said you. There should be some difference here. If you don't have a difference, how does it understand now? This is a two-dimensional jaggedArray. So two-dimensional means row comma column. JaggedArray means row of column. Means here array of 0 comma 0. Here array of 0 of 0. I hope it is clear, all of you. Shall we try declaring this now? Okay, come on, let's try declaring this. jaggedDemo.cs. What happened to my notepad? Huh? Something wrong with my notepad. That thing is working. Array? What happened? Using system class jaggedDemo. Okay, static void main. Okay, now I want to declare a jaggedArray. How to declare? Int double square brace arr is equals to new int of the number of rows you have here. How many rows I want? 4 rows. But columns are not fixed, so we don't tell the columns. What next? Now, how many rows are there? 4 rows are there. AR of 0, AR of 1, AR of 2, AR of 3. Now, start your ARR of 0 is equals to, okay, new int of, and tell the number of columns you want. I want 5 columns, 5 cells. Next, ARR of 1 is equals to new int of, how many cells? 6. ARR of 2 is equals to new int of 8. ARR of 3 is equals to new int of 4. Okay, now. So we just been declaring. So this is how the array is created. So we have row index, we have column index, and now also default values are zeros. Total cells, totally how many? 5 plus 6, 11, 11 plus 8, 19, 19 plus 4, 23 cells. Total we have 23 cells here. Okay, now? And right now all the 23 cells contains zeros under them. Everything is 0 only. Okay. I want to print the values. I want to print the values. Let's see printing the values. How? If at all you just wanted to print the values, if you want to print your values, I can print these values in different varieties here. I can print the values in different varieties. What are the different varieties? First, I want to print it by using a for each loop. Remember half an hour back how to use a for each loop on a 2-dimensional array shown you? Now I'm trying the same thing. For each, okay, int I in ARR console dot write I. So it has to print me 23 zeros now, right? It has to print me 23 zeros. Okay, Array, now again I'll face the same problem. Huh? What happened? Notepad is working. E drive. What's the folder? C sharp 9. Jagged demo.cs. CSC jagged-demo.cs. See, when I compile, I got an error. What is the error? See, cannot convert a type integer array to int. You cannot convert it integer array to int. Where did I convert an integer array to an int, and why I'm getting this error will be a big question in your minds now. Correct? I'll clarify you why you got that error. Guys, already said you. What is this? Integer. What is this? Array of integer. What is this? Okay. Now it's an integer array, correct? If I use a for each loop on it, if I use a for each loop on it, what will happen? For each iteration, return. What will happen? For each iteration, it returns one integer from the array now. It returns from the integer array. Now tell me, guys, what is this? Now, if I use a for each loop on it, if I use a for each loop on it, you filled it now? Fill the gap. 2. Why 2 integers? Use common sense, yeah. Simple English. Understand English first carefully. That's grammar, that's all. You have an array of integers. For each iteration, what will come? One integer will come. Now, second one is array of integer. For each iteration, what will come? One integer array, yeah. Use your common sense. I'm telling you, simple English, yeah. It is the integer array. For each iteration, one integer will come. And what is this now? Array of integer arrays. Array of iteration, what will come? One integer array will come. Actually, na. For each iteration, it returns one integer array from the array of integer arrays. Am I correct? Say, there is a packet of chocolates. There is a packet of chocolates. Each time one chocolate is coming now. Each time one chocolate is coming. But there is a box, and in that box, you have 100 packets of chocolate. For each iteration, what will come? One chocolate packet will come here, not one chocolate. Understood my point or not? So if you have one packet, 100 chocolates, what will come? For each iteration, one chocolate. If you have a box of 100 packets of chocolates now, so for each iteration, what will come? One chocolate packet will come. Understood my point here? Now understood for each iteration, what is it returning you? One integer array. What is it returning you? One integer array. Did you catch my point or not? But what are you doing in the code? You are trying to capture it in an integer variable. Yeah, what is it returning is an integer array. And how are you trying to capture it is a integer variable? Can I assign an array to variable normal integer? Can I assign an integer array to a normal integer? No, that is why you got the error. Read the error message now, you'll understand. I cannot convert to, because what I am returning is integer array, and how you are trying to capture is a integer. that conversion fails. Did you understand? Any confusion still? Come on, open the mouth and answer. Understood? For each iteration, if it returns an integer, you capture as an integer only. But for each iteration, it returns a integer array. Integer array, you should capture it as an integer array now. So how should I write? For each, is it clear now? Yes or not? I am capturing it as a integer array. What is I? I is the name now. You can give any name here. You want to write your name there, no problem. That's only name. Just for understanding, I am writing IARR to tell this is a array. To tell this is a array. Okay now? Just a second. I'll remove all these things. Now see, for each iteration, you are picking one array from that now. Okay now? Now when you come inside, what is IRA? First time IRR refers to first row. Second time IARR refers to second row. Third time IARR refers to third row. And fourth time IARR refers to fourth row. Simply speaking, IARR is a single dimensional array, correct? Tell me, IARR is a single dimensional array. Now see, for each int I in IARR, console dot write I. Did you understand the code? Come on. Any doubts? Let me know. What are you doing in the outer loop? First, analyze yourself. What I am doing in the outer loop? Outer loop is giving me access to each row. Outer loop is giving access to each row. What is the inner loop doing? Inner loop is printing the values of that row. Again, the same blank faces. You have a doubt also, you are not telling. You do understood also, I could not see on your face. Manufacturing defect, this is called as. No expression on the face. Understood or not? I should see on your face that you understood, or I should see on your face. You have a blank face. Then you should say, I did not understand, sir. You are not telling that, and you are not putting a face like you understood also. That all I am telling you. That is called as manufacturing defect. You need to consult a psychiatrist first. Understood? What are you doing in the outer loop? Accessing each row. Accessing each row. Inner loop. Printing the values of that row. You're printing the values of that row. Got the point? See the output. It will print you the 23 zeros to you. And now there is no error in accessing the values. See, no compile time error. Jag demo. All 23 zeros. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. Got all the 23? But sir, it's a 2-dimensional. Can you print me row by row? Yeah, I can print row by row. How? Already I said you na. Simply say console dot write line. Your output is row by row now. So now you can see a perfect jagged array. Sorry guys, I did not compile. Jagged array. Okay now. So now, actually, what I'm trying to tell you now is, you cannot use a for each loop directly on a jagged array, just like we used on a 2-dimensional array. We cannot use a for each loop directly on a jagged array, just like how we used it on a 2-dimensional array. Did I directly use a for each loop or not? But here I cannot use. I require to go for using nested for each loop only. Okay. So you just understand what I shown you. Accessing the values of a jagged array by using what? Nested for each loop. Accessing the values nested for each loop. Again guys, watch a inner for loop as a single line of code. Inner for loop as single line of code. Remove the curly braces and try to make it simple. That's it. One line only, na? So remove of the curly braces. That's it. Are you clear? Now tell me again. I already said you half an hour back. What is the inner for loop doing? Sorry, inner loop doing. What is the inner loop doing? Printing the values of a row that is given by the outer loop. That is given by the outer loop will give you a row. Inner loop will print the values of that row. Clear? Inner loop is printing values of a row only, na? Yes or not? Can I use a for loop there? Again, you came to the start. Yeah, row values can be printed by for loop, na? Why are you thinking this much time now? Inner loop is printing values of a row only, na? Array, can I use a for loop on a row or not? So I can even write the code like this. I say I'll show you a variety of ways to print the output. Watch it. Second option, second way how you write the code. Concentrate on this. For each IARR in ARR. Okay? I'm writing an outer loop. Now see, the outer loop is writing a row now. Same code only, yeah. The outer loop is writing a row now. Now the inner loop should write the code for printing the values of the row now. Correct? So now can I try like this? For int I equals to 0, I less than IARR dot length I plus plus console dot write IARR of I plus space. Okay, again console dot right line. Array, again the inner loop contains one line code only, so I'm removing the curly braces. Watch it here, all of you. That is one style and this is another style. How did I access the values? Accessing the values of a jaggedArray by using what? For loop inside of a for each loop. Guys, concentrate. Do you have any doubts on the inner code? See, simply understand. Outer loop returns a row. What is the row name? IARR. What is the row name? And that is a single dimensional array. Now in the inner loop, I am writing the code for printing the single dimensional array now. For int I is equals to 0, I less than IARR dot length I plus plus. Okay, console dot write IARR of I plus printing a space there, and this is to print a line break for that. That's it. So just to check it out, just a minute here. Now both these outputs will be combined off, so it looks like 8 rows. It looks, just watch it, you'll understand. Everything is combined off, looks like 8 rows there. So just to separate it here, let me say console dot write line and just printing you one line there, that's all. Oh, sorry. Are you clear? Understood, all of you? So this is the second way how you can print the values. This is the second way how you can print your values. So 2 different ways how you can just get access to the appropriate values. So which one is better, sir? Means nothing like this is better, that is better. Nothing like this is better, that is better. That's what I said to you earlier, you remember? When you given multiple options means all are same, guys. Different varieties of writing the code, that's all. Understood my point? Okay. So don't try to analyze this is better, that is better. They are not fools to give you multiple options and finally you decide this is better. If that is better, they would have given you that option only. Not giving you multiple options to you. Okay now? So I'll show you one more style. What is the other style? Guys, you can also use a nested for loop also. You can also use a nested for loop also. Nested for loop also works here. Did you catch my point or not? Nested for loop also works here. Shall we try that? Come on, guys. Again, to separate the output, again I'm adding a Line break there. Eh? Now I'm showing you third option. What is the third option? Accessing the values of a jaggedArray by using nested for loop. Guys, how do you use a nested for loop? Just with the 2-dimensional, I explained you how to use a nested for loop. Come on, tell me the code. For I is equals to 0. I less than ARR dot get length of 0 I plus plus. Correct? Next, for into j equals to 0, j less than ARR dot get length of 1, j plus plus. Okay, one line only I'll write, so I'm not using the curly braces. Console dot write ARR of I of j. This is what? Not I comma j. What is it? I of j plus space. Next, console dot write line. Are you guys clear with the code? Alright, this is the same code I explained you half an hour back to print the values of a 2-dimensional array. Correct or not? Clear now? But this code won't work. This won't work here. This won't work. Why is it? Why it won't work? This is also 2-dimensional array now. I'll tell you. Can you tell me what is the output? What is the output if I print ARR dot get length of 0? Tell me the result. If I say console dot write line ARR dot get length of 0, what is the output? I shown you now already. ARR dot get length of 0. What it will print you? Number of rows. Then tell me how many rows are there, yeah? How many? 4. That's what I'm asking. Tell me the output. ARR dot get length of 0. What is the output? 4. Confident? Yes or not? Now tell me. ARR dot get length of 1. What is the output? Get length of 1. What is the output? Tell me the result means columns. You say it will print your columns. Tell me the output. What is printed on screen? First case it will print 4. Na? Second case what is printed? Tell me. Use your brains here sometimes at least. Columns here. The confusion now, yeah. What is the confusion? All are not having same columns, sir. How will it print now? Use your common sense. That's what I'm telling you. See, get length of 0 prints you number of rows. You're clear. 4. But when I say get length of 1 number of columns, there is no clarity now. Why no clarity? First row has 5 columns. Second row has 6 columns. Third row has 8 columns. Fourth row has 4 columns. So what will it print? Confusion now. Did you get my point or not? But for 2-dimensional array, we don't have a confusion. Why we don't have a confusion? Why 2-dimensional array all have same columns only, but now all are not having the same columns. So this is a clear confusion what is going to come into picture. Understood now? That is why I said you that code won't execute. Get length of 1 will not work on jagged arrays. Get length of 1 will not work on jagged arrays. Get length of 1 will work only on the 2-dimensional arrays, not work on the jagged arrays. Why? Array, a human brain only cannot tell the answer here. How a computer can tell that? Is a computer intelligent than us? You have a doubt? You have a doubt? You only designing a computer. Yeah, array, you designed a computer. Is a computer more intelligent than us? A human brain cannot answer. A computer also cannot answer that. Are you clear? See, computers are not intelligent, or computers is not a genius. Computers are only designed to do the work faster than us. That's all. Did you catch my point or not? Don't think computer is a superpower and computer can do everything. Array, whatever I tell to that only it will do. Got my point? Only point is it can do the work faster than me. That's it. When the first computer came see, a big mathematical calculation which takes nearly 30 hours for a human brain to calculate, which takes nearly 30 hours for a human brain to calculate, is done by a computer within 1 second. Is done within 1 second. Computer can do work faster than me. That's all. Doesn't mean that computer is intelligent than my brain. Am I clear? Human brain is the superpower. Yeah, you can design anything, not a computer. Okay. So point to understand is here get length of 1. My brain only doesn't have an answer there now. 5 6 8 4 Yes or not? So computer also don't know. So computer cannot return you any result here. Suppose it returns the first row values. Suppose it returns the first row size. You face problem in second, third rows now. What is the problem? What is the first row size? 5 na? Second row also 5 only will be printed. Third row also 5 only will be printed. Fourth row will give you error. Why? 4 cells are there. If loop runs 5 times, error will come. Understood my point? Yes or not? That is why get length of 1 cannot be used here. Then what should I use then? Okay, I'll tell you. What should I use? Concentrate on this. When you're pointing to first row, how many times inner loop should run? 5 times. Perfect. So here what should come? 5. When you're pointing to second row, how many times inner loop should run? 6 times. Third row, 8 times. Fourth row, 4 times. Means first row, when you're pointing to first row, this should be ARR of 0 dot length. Did you understand now? Again, ARR of 0, yeah, ARR of 0 dot length 5. Next, ARR of 1 dot length, right? Next, ARR of 2 dot length. Next, 3 dot length. Correct or not? So use I now. I is your row na. I refers to your row na. First term I is 0. So error of 0 dot length. Second term I is 1. Error of 1 dot length. Third term I is 2. 2 dot length. 3 dot length. Understood the code? You cannot write get length of 1. What you should write? ARR of I dot length. The length of the current row. The length of the current row. Save it and run the code. You will get the same output only. Watch. Okay, now 3 times 3 options I shown you. Fourth option also. Let's complete off. Again, what did you write here? For loop, right? Can I write a for each loop there? Array, all 4 possibilities here. For each. For each, for each. You can use that combination also. Watch, I'm showing you the last option. What is that? Accessing the values of a jagged array by using what? For each loop inside of a for loop. For each loop inside of a for loop. You tell me for loop code first. For int I is equals to 0. I less than ARR dot get length of 0. I plus plus. Okay, fine, done. Next, for each. For each what? Int x. For each int x in ARR of. ARR of I is the row that only we used here. ARR of I. ARR of I means row. Okay. Console dot write line x. Don't ask me a question. Why did you use x, sir? You write your name there, yeah. That is the name of a variable, yeah. You can write whatever name you want. That's my choice. I will write whatever name I wanted to write there. That's all. There is no point that is x, y, a, b. You use anything you like. Understood? And see now, you get the same output one more time. Oh, you used up right line here. Sorry, guys. I used up right line there. That's it. Check. Got the same output or not? Am I clearer? So this is how you can access the values of a jaggedArray. Either nested for each loop, or either nested for loop, or for each loop inside a for loop, or for loop inside. I use the two loops in 4 combinations now. That's all. Are you clearer, everyone? I use them in different combinations. And here in the last case, okay, so you're just printing what? X. Why? I'm directly referring to the value because this is a for each loop directly refers to value only. So straight away printing the X value. Clear or not? Okay. So just try writing the code here. Try writing the code. You will just try to analyze each and everything, what happens on each and every line. I said you that only. You better write comments when you're writing the code. Outer loop refers to rows. Inner loop prints the values of the row pointed by outer loop. Sorry. Understood? Huh? Outer loop refers to row. Inner loop prints the values referred by outer loop. That's all. Okay, now let's stop here, guys. We'll meet on Monday. See the return type of the method, Pranavasai. See what is the return type of the method. How to just identify that, I'll tell you in the Visual Studio. Monday, mostly Monday, we'll start working with Visual Studio. Then I will tell you how to see the return type. You'll get a clarity there.
Recording stopped.
What is that? I did not understand, Chandrasekhar, how to call acronym. What do you mean by that?